Good morning, boys. Today we are going to do the Ballad of Father Gilligan. So, a ballad is a poem or a song narrating a story, and this story is obviously about the priest Peter Gilligan, also known as Father Gilligan. He is tired because he has to pray for the sick and the dying. And being exhausted after the day's work, he needed some rest. But another man called for him. Another man called for him because he had to go and pray for that man. And since Peter Gilligan was very tired, he complained and he felt very guilty when he realized that he did not do his work, but God came to his aid. So, we are going to do this poem. I'm going to explain this poem to you. The old priest Peter Gilligan was weary night and day. He was tired day and night because he had to do a lot of work in his countryside. He was a priest, and WB East belongs to Ireland, which is a Catholic country. And in there, the Catholics believe that before a person dies, he has to be given a sacrament or called the extreme unction, where the priest prays over the dying, and it is believed that once the priest blesses the dying person, then his soul rests in peace. And so, Peter Gilligan's job was to pray for the dying, and also when a person dies, the priest has to go and say certain prayers at the burial of the dying person. So he was very tired because he had to do a lot of work. And so the old priest Peter Gilligan was weary night and day. He was tired not only in the day but also in the night because so many people were dying. So they also called for him during the night. For half his flock were in their beds or under greensods lay. Flock is his congregation who he has to take care of, the people in charge in that particular parish. It's not a flock of sheep. Here, the people who are under him in that parish, in his church, those are the people he is in charge of. So he has to pray for them. And the kind of people he is in charge are the dead and the dying. For half his flocks were in their beds. In their beds were the people who are sick, or under green sods lay. They were under the turf, under the grass. So those are the people who are dead. These are the people he had to pray for. Once, while he nodded on a chair, at the moth hour of the eve. So he nodded, he's almost falling asleep at the moth hour of the eve. After sunset, when the moths appear, this kind of insects which appear, and he is so sleepy, he's tired, he was about to go to sleep. Another poor man sent for him, and he began to grieve. Another poor man called for him. What does it mean? It means that this place, this countryside, was not a very rich countryside. It was a poor countryside because there was another poor man who called for him. And he began to grieve. He began to complain. Peter Gilligan begins to complain because he is tired and his body does not want to move an inch. He was almost like jolted from his sleep. He wants to sleep and he's being jolted from his sleep. So he began to complain. I have no rest, nor joy, nor peace. You can understand the frustration of this priest. This line reveals his frustration. I have no rest. I have no joy. I have no peace. I'm not happy doing what I'm supposed to do. I don't have peace. All the time it's some kind of a tension. There's no good news for this priest. It's always somebody sick or somebody is dying. He has to pray for. How can you feel happy to go and to always see the sick people and the dying people? So there's no happiness in his life. So he's totally exhausted and frustrated. And after cried he, God forgive, my body spake, not I. He realizes his mistake. He is guilty. And so he says, it is not I who, I am not saying this, but my body is complaining. He knelt and leaning on a chair, he prayed and fell asleep. So he knelt down to pray. And probably he thought that he would get up and go and pray for the sick man. So he just knelt down on the chair. When you're tired, your body needs little rest. That's why probably he did not go to the bed to sleep. He knew probably if he would go to the bed, he would fall asleep. So he did not go to the bedside. He knelt on the chair, and kneeling he fell asleep. He must have been so tired that probably he did not have the energy to move to the bed and go to sleep. He must have just fallen asleep on the chair in a kneeling position the entire night. A man, an old man, kneeling and still fast asleep shows how tired this man might have been. And the moth hour went from the fields, and stars began to peep. And so this moth hour went from the field, it became night, and there were many, many stars in the sky. They slowly into million grew, and leaves shook in the wind. So the stars, there were few, and then it became dark, and the entire sky was covered with stars, and leaves shook in the wind. It's dark, no? There's no sunlight. So you see, it's cool in the evening. In the day, it may be very hot. Then the night, it becomes cool. And that's the time, even the people in the village, if they can, when they don't have fan, the breeze when the leaves shake, and that's the kind of fan for them. The leaves shake. It's not the ceiling fan which we have in the house where we get comfort. Those poor people, when the leaves move, that's the breeze they enjoy. And it's in the evening when there is no sunlight. And the leaves shook in the wind, and God covered the world with shade and whispered to mankind. God says, well, it's time to go to sleep. And so he covered the world with shade. He made darkness, and he kind of he whispered to mankind. He's telling mankind, shh, go to sleep. It's night. Night is the time we don't make noise, everything is quiet. So God is telling you, shh, go to sleep. Just like your parents say, enough, now it's time to go to sleep. Upon the time of sparrow chirp, when the moth came once more, the old priest Peter Gilligan stood upright on the floor, and now he slept. Now it's become morning. How does he know it's morning? Because the sparrows begin to chirp, and he's awakened because the sparrows come and make a lot of noise. And the moth hour came once more. Again, before sunrise, again these insects appear. So once again the insects appear. The old priest Peter Gilligan stood upright on the floor. He stood upright. He stood up on the floor. He did not, he was kind of shocked. How did I sleep the entire night? And he stood on the floor. Mavron, Mavron, the man has died while I slept on the chair. He kind of exclaimed. Mavron is a kind of interjection. It's an exclamation of sorrow. It's kind of saying, alas. And he says that man has died while I slept on the chair. I have not done my duty. He roused his horse out of his sleep and rode with little care. He woke up his horse. His horse too was sleeping. It was early in the morning, and he rode carelessly. He rode now as he never rode by rocky lane and fen. So he started riding recklessly over the rock and even over fen, marshy area, boggy area. The sick man's wife opened the door. Father, you come again? The sick man said. Father, the sick man's wife said, Father, you come again? This sentence was like not expected by Father Gilligan. He could not comprehend what this lady said. Father, you come again? So he did not come again. So he does not, his mind is preoccupied with the man might have died and I have failed my duty. So the first question which he asked this lady is, and is the poor man dead? He cried, so is this man dead? I was supposed to come and pray for this man. So is this man dead? And the lady said, he died an hour ago. Now, of course he died. He died an hour ago. Peter Gilligan is so sad. The old priest Peter Gilligan in grief swayed to and fro. He moved to and fro, forward and backward in grief. He was so sad. because he has failed to do his duty. When he becomes a priest, he has taken some responsibility to do the kind of job that he is doing now. But now he has failed to do his duty, so he has displeased God. He is very sorry for what he has done. That man has died, and he has not said prayers for this man. He has not prayed for this man. The lady repeats, "When you were gone, he turned and died as merry as a bird. When you left, then he died peacefully, as merry as a bird." Now Peter Gilligan tries to kind of understands. The first time she says, "You come again." He did not come again, and his mind was preoccupied with the thought that he has failed to do his duty. So he's only interested in asking, "Is that man alive?" But she says, "The man is dead," and she says, "After you went, he died peacefully. He had a happy death." Peter Gilligan then understood that definitely there is a miracle. There must have been someone else who has come in his guise and who has prayed for this old man. He knows, he realizes that probably God has sent someone down. He must have sent one of his angels down because he was so tired. God, who is a loving father, he understood that this man is not a person who will not do his duty. This man is old and he's tired, and he has to pray for a lot of people. Probably there is an epidemic because people are dying and dying. It's not just one few people who are dying, there are many people who are dying. So there probably is an epidemic in that area, in that countryside. And so probably God understood that this man needs rest. And so he sent his angels down the angel looked just like Father Gilligan. The angel came and prayed for the dead man, and that man died in peace. Father Gilligan understood and he knelt down immediately. He says, "He who hath made the stars and at night." So hath means has made the stars at night. So who has made the stars at night? God has made the stars at night. For souls who tire and bleed. Why has God made the stars at night? Because the tired people need darkness. They don't need total darkness. They need little light which the stars provide, because at least in the night when the stars are shining, we can see shadowy figures, and it's very important. Totally dark, people cannot find things in the dark, or people who are traveling maybe in the night, they need little light. So God has made little stars, but also he has made darkness for us to rest. So he has made the day where people work, and the night where we need sleep, so we sleep in the night in the darkness. So that God who has made the stars at night for souls who tire and bleed, he has made the night for the people to rest. The people who have worked the entire day sent one of his great angels down to help me in my need. So this God has sent one of his angels, knowing that I am very tired and unable to do my work. So he is filled with gratitude to the Almighty God, who is so loving, who is so caring. And he says, "He who is wrapped in purple robes," this God is wrapped, is covered in purple clothes, purple signifying royalty. So he is the king of the universe, and so he is dressed in purple robes with planets in his sky. He is no ordinary God. He is the God of the entire universe, a singular. He is singular. He is the monarch of the universe, and he has planets in his care. He looks after not only the earth but all the planets, and every star and every object in the universe. Had pity on the least of things asleep upon the chair. And he's so grateful to God, because this God who is in charge of the entire universe, he has to see that every object on the earth moves with a certain rhythm, has certain gravity, stays in its proper place, so that no two planets bang against each other. He has so many things to do. He had pity. He felt that this man asleep, this small man who was just a minute dot compared to the entire universe, he knew that this man was tired on this on his chair. This small creature, this little creature compared to the universe, God is caring even for this small creature who is sleeping on his chair. So Father Gilligan is full of gratitude. He kneels down to thank God. He realizes how loving this God is. So this poem is full of beautiful imagery. The countryside, all right, he has a horse, and the moths come in the evening, early in the morning, um, night full of stars in the sky, and you have the leaves moving. So beautiful imagery of the place of the countryside where W.B. Yeats lives. And of course, um, it has deep meaning. The poem has a deeper meaning and a moral. So it is an allegory. I hope you enjoyed the poem. Thank you.